Hello and welcome to the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast for Thursday, February 16th. Hope you had a great Valentine's Day, and we can be thankful we didn't get all the bad storms they did up in Oklahoma and Arkansas last night. Now, North Texas went under a severe thunderstorm watch about 4 Wednesday afternoon, got up to 77, so unusually warm, but DFW Airport didn't even get any rain when the front came on through late Wednesday night. Now, it's a pretty potent storm system that moved across the country, but the central point of the most potent storm energy passed by north of Texas, although it did drop considerable snow on the panhandle. Now, this storm system also drew a lot of Pacific moisture across Mexico into Texas and the plains and the Midwest, and that's what we're seeing on the morning satellite loop across Texas. Fairly heavy cloud cover. You can actually see that real thin band of clouds that's across northern Louisiana, moving on down through the Beaumont-Port Arthur area this morning. That is the actual cold front that's moving on through. It's a Pacific cold front. It's not all that cold, but it is windy and chilly across much of the state, and it'll be a while before most of the state clears out. Of course, up to the north in the Panhandle, you see all that white that's not moving. That's all snow cover. So the Panhandle got some pretty good snows last night. They also had a little bit of snow out in El Paso early this morning as well. All right, well, here's what the radar map shows. The storm system crossing the country is throwing off some heavy rain and severe thunderstorm potential along the Mississippi Valley, and, of course, some snow moving into the Great Lakes. We already had a tornado watch centered on Memphis this morning, and this is our severe weather risk for the next 18 hours. As the day wears on, severe storm and tornado potential will be shifting northeast and expanding southward to cover much of Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee, and even as far north as Kentucky. It's going to be a rough day for folks in the Mid-South. And once again, here we are in the middle of winter, and while we probably will confirm some tornadoes in Oklahoma that occurred Wednesday night, but notice where the real stormy weather is today, and it's a little bit east of Texas, and we keep wondering whether our climatological norm of, Tornado Alley is actually drifting a little bit to the east. It certainly seems that way right now. Now, we'll go back to the radar and see heavy snow warnings across Iowa and Wisconsin. We could also see some significant air travel delays around O'Hare and Midway in Chicago throughout the day. And I was looking ahead to the next couple of weeks, and there will be at least 2 unusually brutal cold outbreaks across the northern third of the country. You can see a little rain from Vancouver down to Seattle. Heavy snows again moving into Chicago right now, and heavy rains in the Mid-South expanding to the east and to the northeast and also to the southeast throughout the day. Now, the first one is about a week away. That's late next Thursday, February 23rd. Some bitterly cold air coming out of the Yukon, the Mackenzie River Valley to be precise. That really drains cold air down into the lower 48 from time to time, and it will drop teens below zero. Teens below zero as far south as Nebraska, it looks like, next Thursday, February 23rd. Now, farther east, another Canadian air mass coming kind of down into the Hudson Valley will drop teens below zero. That's, again, teens below zero as far south as maybe Pittsburgh. That's pretty bitter even for Pittsburgh. Fortunately, we do not see anything like that coming toward Texas, at least not at this time. Okay, let's start looking at the forecast maps. This one starts out at noon today. The first one based on noon, and what a mess. We have heavy storms in the Mid-South, heavy rains moving up into the metro Northeast, heavy snow and some ice from north of St. Louis up through Chicago into Detroit. Meanwhile, it's merely chilly across Texas today. Now, by midnight Friday morning, heavy snows across the Great Lakes with heavy storms from the deep south stretching up through the Appalachians into the Northeast and New England. It's going to be a very rough night for those folks, Thursday night to Friday morning. Now, by sunup Friday morning, a lot of ice is active in upstate New York and New England. Could be some significant power outages, not just from downed trees and power lines, but we have seen, especially up in Canada and the far northeastern states, we have seen those massive power derricks bent over and collapsed under the weight of tons of ice. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's a scary scenario up there in New England tomorrow. By Saturday, it's all over but the shouting. Pretty clean map here, and of course, waiting for the power company to fix all the power outages from the snow and ice from the Great Lakes on through New England. And Sunday's not bad either, as the continental United States is, as they say, between engagements, and that's when it's finally going to start warming up across Texas, too. By Monday, a new upper air disturbance starts the process all over again in the west, with rain and snow from the Pacific Northwest spreading eastward through Montana to North Dakota, down through Yellowstone into northwestern Colorado. Again, these are higher elevations. We expect to see that. and then some routine rains from the Corn Belt on up into the northeast. On Tuesday, the storm system in the west continues to spread more snow eastward into Nebraska and Minnesota and Iowa, and a new surface low in the Panhandle begins to pull Gulf moisture northward through East Texas toward DFW. We do have some rain in the forecast for Tuesday. Now, by Wednesday, the rain in Texas moves east, while the storm system in the northwest begins to qualify as massive. Look at that, plenty of cold air to work with coming out of Canada, so we're going to see snowfall Wednesday from Washington and Oregon all the way through the Dakotas, through Chicago, and all the way into down east Maine, pretty much from the Pacific to the Atlantic. So that's a whale of a snowstorm, and that's going to continue through next Thursday as well across the continental United States. So all in all, we have very little to complain about here in North Texas anyway. Partly cloudy, windy, and cool all day. The high this afternoon probably no warmer than what our current temperatures are, around 48. Winds out of the northwest, 15 to 30 and gusty. We had wind chills down in the 30s this morning. And if your daffodils have started to come up out of the ground, you might want to put a little blanket on them tonight. We're looking at lows of 26 to 30 degrees, depending on how the skies clear out tonight. Okay, tomorrow, Friday, sunny and cool with a high of 51, low 33. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and cool. Again, we would warm up better with south winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, but because of A, the low sun angle this time of year, and B, the clouds that might be around on Saturday, then we're not going to get much out of our south winds on Saturday. Now, Sunday, partly cloudy, windy, and warmer with a high near 70 and a low near 52. Southwest wind 15 to 25 and gusty. And on Monday, partly cloudy, windy, and yet warmer with a high of 78 degrees, setting up our next chance of rain on Tuesday. Hey, thanks again for joining us for the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast for Thursday, February 16th. We'll see you again next Thursday. Bye-bye.